Hi everyone, it's me from my channel. And we are going to do something a little bit different today. So this isn't a formal video, so don't expect anything too insightful. I just want to bounce some ideas off of you guys and get your feedback because I've been thinking about this for a while now and I'm curious what you guys think. Okay, so here's the question that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is success just luck in disguise? Or, in other words, does being in the right place at the right time matter more than all of the hard work and talent in the world? So the reason why I've been thinking about this is there are so many people out there who have worked super hard, who are extremely talented, who arguably are the best in the world at what they do, but never really get their big break. They never really make it. And on the flip side, there are these other people who seem to be in the right place at the right time and kind of randomly get a big opportunity and end up being successful. Now, this has always made me wonder how much of our success in life is actually up to us and how much of it is just random chance. So I did a quick internet search and found this article on the Harvard Business Review website, which talks about how most successful people will tell you that their success is due to being in the right place at the right time. The author of the article, Scott Moutz, he says in his experience, most successful people will say their success is 90% due to being in the right place at the right time and only 10% due to their own efforts. On the other hand, not so successful people will say their lack of success is 90% due to their own shortcomings and only 10% due to bad luck. Essentially, what he's saying is that our perception of whether or not we are successful often depends on whether or not we blame luck or our own actions for our successes and failures. Now, if you ask me, I think it's somewhere in between. I think it's probably 50-50. It's probably 50% on us and 50% on luck. But then again, I might be biased because I feel like I've been pretty lucky in my life. Like, when I was looking for an apartment, I found this amazing one-bedroom apartment for $800 per month. And when I was applying to college, I got accepted into the university that I wanted to go to, even though my grades weren't that good. I also think that I've been pretty lucky with the opportunities that I've had with YouTube and this podcast. Like, I remember the first time I posted a video to YouTube, I didn't even think anybody would watch it. But then out of nowhere, the video ended up getting a few million views and everything just kind of snowballed from there. I guess what I am trying to say is that I feel like if I didn't post that video, my life would be very different. But now that I posted it, it's out there and there's nothing that I can do to change it. Now, obviously, I could take all of the videos down, but that would probably hurt my self-esteem, so I don't want to do that either. Anyway, I recently talked about this with a good friend of mine. He's the co-founder and CEO of a software company, and he gave me this great analogy. He said that making connections with people is kind of like fishing. He said, imagine you're fishing for trout and you see this huge lake up ahead. You think, wow, there must be so many trout in this lake. It must be so easy to catch fish. So you start casting your line, and you cast, but you can't seem to get a bite. Then eventually you come across this tiny puddle over here, and you think, wow, there's no way a trout would ever be in this tiny puddle. But you cast your line anyway, and surprisingly you get a bite. He says that in the beginning you might be disappointed that you didn't catch a massive fish, but as you get more and more bites and you realize that every single time you go back to that lake, you end up coming home empty-handed. Whereas this tiny puddle keeps giving you fish after fish after fish. He says that eventually you realize that sometimes the smallest of places can lead to the biggest of rewards. The reason why I thought this was such a great analogy is because I feel like a lot of the times we think that in order to be successful, we need to go after the biggest opportunities. We need to go to the biggest cities. We need to go to the biggest companies. We need to chase the biggest dreams. But a lot of the times, the smallest of opportunities can lead to the biggest rewards. Now, I'm not saying that chasing big goals is a bad thing. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go after what we want. Of course we should. Of course we should have big dreams. But I am saying that we shouldn't overlook the smaller opportunities in front of us, simply because we think they aren't big enough. And I think a lot of times we tend to think that the bigger the opportunity, the better our chances of success. But I think that's wrong. I think in some cases, the bigger the opportunity, the lower our chances of success. For example, if you want to be a writer, you might think that your best chance at success is writing the next Harry Potter book or the next Game of Thrones book. But I think that's wrong. I think your best chance at success is writing books or stories or articles or whatever you write about things that you know a lot about and that you re passionate about because you re able to draw from your own experiences. You're able to write with authenticity. And yes, it's great to have lofty goals. Yes, it's great to want to be the best of the best. Yes, it's great to want to change the world, but oftentimes the best way to go about doing that is starting small, testing the waters, seeing where your strengths lie and gradually building up from there. So maybe the reason why we haven't been successful yet isn't because we haven't tried hard enough. Maybe it's because we haven't put ourselves in the right place. Maybe it's because we haven't met the right people. Maybe it's because we haven't taken advantage of the right opportunities. And hey, that's okay. That just means we have more opportunities to do that in the future. There's this famous saying that goes, "The harder you work, the luckier you get." And I used to think that this meant if you work hard, eventually you will succeed. But now I think it means that the harder you work, the more opportunities you create for yourself, the more places you put yourself in. The more people you meet, the more chances you give yourself to get lucky. And honestly, if that's all this saying really means, then I think it's kind of depressing. I think it implies that if you don't get lucky, you didn't try hard enough. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I know this wasn't a formal video, but I really enjoyed talking about this, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as well. If you have any thoughts or opinions, please let me know in the comments below, because I do love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.